Well, our next map is going to be Dash and Terminal. This is the craziest map, the most vetoed map of the year in WCS. So definitely a weird one, kind of analogous to Scrap Station of old years.
Yeah.
But the mains are very close together by air, not by land. It's going to be weird.
Let's make some noise for our next game. This is Life against sOs in BlizzCon 2015. In the center right, in the blue, last year's champion, give it up for Life! In the top center, in the red, winning BlizzCon 2013, our Protoss, he is sOs!
And now tied up at 2-2. The winner of this one will be on match point for the rest of this match. So obviously a very, very important game coming up here. Such a close series. This is the perfect match. You could not have written a better script for the finals.
Esports fan fiction, man, except it's actually real. They're tied up 2-2 right now. And I'm not sure if we're ever going to see Life in this series do anything like that DT rush again. Never count him out, but I would predict he's going to stay away from that.
Yeah, I mean, both
SOS
games at Dark Templars, he lost.
Yeah.
Life is on top of that.
I just don't think it's viable against him. He just seems to absorb the attack too quickly. So we'll see. The Overlord now coming in here and checking to see the timing of the Nexus, which is going to be an inevitability in this matchup. And so from there, Life is just going to react and do whatever he can to get as many drones out as possible, unless he opts to do some kind of rush and end the game.
Yeah, you know, this game, both players kind of playing it safe, to be honest. It's like we see a hatchery first into a spawning pool, not too many drones, not too greedy there, not like a double hatchery first. And then sOs just going for a gateway into expansion. That's like very middle of the road. You get your expansion up, but you feel safe against just about everything. So both of them realize how important this game is in the grand scheme of things.
The probe now coming into the main, just do a little bit of scouting, and the core nicely placed over there in the back. That makes for a nice little block there, since on this map you can get a little bit behind the natural expansion, and you want to make sure absolutely that there's no way for Zerg to slip Lings in, especially out of all people Life.
Oh yeah, indeed. And in the meantime, Life is going to go ahead and take his own third base. No gas is taken quite yet, so Life going to be going for much later Ling speed. Something we haven't seen much out of him so far in this tournament.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We actually haven't seen as much of that. It'll be interesting. Are we going to see Life do, you think, any kind of a rushing in this game? I know he's already getting the third hatch up, but it
really doesn't look like it. It looks like he actually wants to play a defensive macro game, which is what you'd expect out of many Zergs, but not Life. Life has really been putting people on their back foot, but doesn't that make for the perfect mind game? That's the last thing sOs will expect.
You know, one thing to highlight is that it's not just about the players reading each other in this series. You know, we only have one match going on at a time, and obviously the players can spectate each other as they're playing. So to some extent, sOs might have been even taking some details from the previous games that Life had played and trying to factor that into what's happening here. And that's what makes it so difficult to win, not just a best of 5 or best of 7, but an entire tournament is trying to transition play, mask what you're going to do, disguise your intentions as well as possible.
Indeed, well said, Tasteless. Well, we did see that Overlord scouted that there is, in fact, a Stargate up for sOs, so that's definitely a very important scout. Shouldn't be taking much damage from the Oracle, but that's okay. It's not like you're far behind because of that. The Oracle is always going to get a pick off here and there, help against Zerglings, do a lot of scouting. It's still a very useful unit here for sOs.
And we have seen sOs do some builds where the Oracle is used to follow up, for instance, for detection and some kind of big aggressive attack. Not clear if that's going to be the case here. Whoa.
A fleet beacon.
What?
We are, that's a fleet beacon, everybody.
So that's what a fleet beacon looks like. All right.
I just saw Rotterdam fix the pillow on the couch. He's getting excited right now. We might be seeing something like early Tempest. We could be seeing... all
right, well, hold on.
I'm not going to say carriers. I don't want to get everyone's hopes up that much.
That's in the next expansion. That's okay. I think if you look at the way the map is structured, there's this giant, if we can get a shot of the giant cavity between, so see this this space over here, and that extends all the way from, you know, the entire upper right side of the map. What I'm trying to say is vacant. So you can get Tempest over there, if this is what he's going to do, I don't know, and try, yeah, he is going to do that. So he's going to try to poke into that location. This is not normal. This is not something that you see really at all. And this is actually the last time these guys will play. Anybody will play in a major tournament for Heart of the Swarm. And so he's pulling this out right here, right now.
It's time for him to bust it out. I agree. And it's definitely not something that you see ever, really. So I'm excited to see, can sOs pull this off? Just such a quick Tempest. What does Life really have to kill that off right now? He's going for the lair just at this moment. Really, Queens and Spores are his only anti-air, but the Tempest vastly outranges both of those. What is he going to do?
sOs is placed out. This is so sOs. This is so weird. Okay, so he's actually just making a beeline over there. Now, it's not easy to spot this with Overlords because people don't really do this, so there's not Overlords there to begin with. To check for this?
Oh, he sees it now.
Saw it. Okay, he saw it. He knows now.
And now he's looking at the map structure. He's like, oh, no.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
The upper right side of the map is empty, and oh, no. He's going to come in over here, and you can just start gunning down workers.
You absolutely can. I mean, we might see a Spore Crawler come over and try to zone this out, but of course it can outrange that Spore Crawler and kill it off as well.
And he's actually making more and more Tempests. Now, there is a way that you can play this game where you just turtle up and sit on Tempest for a long time and try to outlast your opponent. But one of the reasons why we don't see stuff like this is it's normally deemed by all the experts that it probably wouldn't work. But sOs, when it's dead even right now in the finals of BlizzCon 2015, has decided this is a strat he's going to use.
Well, he tries to take a third base. That gets canceled. It's okay, though. His Tempest is still alive and well. He's gone ahead and used that Oracle to tag all those units so he can see them from even further away, because the Tempest can shoot much further than it sees. So, yeah, having vision on this, really helping him to put on more damage more quickly.
Oh, this has got to be so annoying for Life. This is not at all what Life is prepared for in this game.
Yes, indeed. And look at this follow-up by sOs. He's adding 5 gateways, getting a Twilight, getting that +1 attack. It looks like he wants to go into a Blink Stalker type of build, which is really smart because we have a Spire coming up from Life as the counter to this. And, I mean, if you're trying to go mutas and you have 10 of them and then 20 Blink Stalkers walk in, you're going to be dead.
Yeah, and this might just work because there's really not a lot, at least for the time being, that Zerg can do to stop the drones from getting killed. And, you know, the Queens are all back here trying to defend. So I think you're right. If sOs follows us up with a crazy attack into the front, it might be the wrong tech to actually defend this with.
Well, it looks like still more damage being done. 7 drones being picked off. Queens as well. Overlords as well. sOs doing a great job with this really crazy strategy right now. And with that many sentries, more stalkers on the way, Blink as well. He's going to be in great shape against someone who's making 7 Corruptors right now.
Oh, man, and the Corruptors are like the last thing you want to use in a situation like that. He's continuing to press forward, poking and taking out these drones. Again, hiccups in mining for Zerg early on are really bad. It really slows the Zerg down a little bit more than Terran and Protoss because of the way the economy functions. So this, yeah, look, I mean, seems to be working perfectly. Life has finally stopped this attack. Oh, he does get one. Okay.
That's very nice, but the Mothership Core does save the other. The Oracle goes down. That's really good as well. That was all of his detection. So some nice pickoffs there, but in the meantime, sOs now has a strong ground army against someone who has spent a ton of money on Corruptors.
And we're going to have this push coming out here. And yeah, that was, okay, so he did that strategy because it's annoying for the Zerg, but then he knows that the Zerg will make the Corruptors, and therefore this next attack should be much more effective as the Protoss. So really in-depth thinking here from sOs. Is it going to work? I don't know. We don't really see stuff like this.
Yeah, and right now, Life is pumping out as many roaches as he can. He's getting that roach speed as well. And he just got Burrow, which is pretty awesome, because if this attack comes, there's no detection after killing off that Oracle. So he's going to have to wait for observers to come out. So this is a good call by Life. Definitely a possibility that he holds on here.
Yeah, losing that Oracle, it's always a problem. Any Oracle you build, you pretty much have to keep that throughout the majority of the game, at least the part where they're still teching up, because it has so much utility as time progresses. Now we have the army going back here. Protoss moving into 3 bases right now. Zerg going down into the bottom center to take the 4th base. Supplies 130 to 163. One thing to also know is when we saw that Tempest tech, even though that was cool and he was hitting drones, the other tech for Protoss was a little bit later, and Life was teching in a much more normal direction. So the battle may look a little bit different. It may be a battle that Life wins more easily than we expect. We don't know.
Well, let's see here. Life is going forward with the roaches, and a nice force field though, but that burrow once again without the observer there quite yet. Great call. We do see the Corruptors actually getting a little bit of value.
You know what? They can go right over the Stargate. They could actually get that Oracle as well.
Yeah. That's actually a really nice move there. In the meantime, we do have the roaches actually going over towards those destructible rocks near the natural. And we'll have to see what else he can get done here. But so far, good defense by SOS.
And this is going to trigger the push here by SOS. He's going to be moving out now. And he's trying to engage these roaches as fast as he possibly can. And we'll probably see another blink on top of this right over here. No Overseer yet to try to spot for that observer, so the Corruptors could maybe gun it down.
Nice move, blinking forward here. He needs to pick off as much as he can, cleaning up a ton of the creep as well. Proximity pylon there, allowing him to warp in more Blink Stalkers, pushing forward with just a wonderful set of Blink Stalkers here to take out this army that's just not prepared.
And he's going to continue to push forward. Nice force field, blinking back to get a good surface area. And it's going to be very important that Life holds on here. The supply is frighteningly even right now, 154 to 168.
Well, looks like nice force fields coming down here by SOS. Life getting a gigantic concave, though. He's going to start backing up, picking off some of these Corruptors as he does so. Doesn't want that corruption helping out too much in this battle. Pushing forward once again is SOS. He actually has a supply lead at this point. That's a big deal in this matchup. And we do have Life coming in with a big concave.
The Stalkers continuing to blink flank. A nice arc. The drones are being pulled. The angle better for Life. But the blinking might just be good enough for SOS. He's got to back up and start kiting these units. Coming back. Now Life left to pull around. Right now this bridge acting like a giant funnel. Nobody can get a good fight when they're standing on it.
That's right. Whoever goes through the funnel is going into a giant concave. And of course, Tasos, as we know, the concave beats the convex.
A wise man once said that, Artos. It's very true. And as you can see, the attack continuing to move forward here. He's actually going to just try to dive in on these Stalkers. Way too many Stalkers now coming forward. Beautiful. And all Life can do is try to hang on. Supplies even, never a good sign for Zerg unless both players are maxed out.
And look at this, SOS brings back out of retirement that Tempest after he had picked off every single Corruptor. And this is just poking and prodding Life, putting damage on, daring Life to come into this concave.
And Life once again engages here, but this Tempest continues to do a lot of damage. He's going to kite the Tempest back a little bit.
Oh, nice control there. Look at these supplies, neck and neck for the majority of this fight. These two are so close, so evenly matched. Life here on 4 bases, trying to get something done against SOS's attack.
Oh, and he's going to just reroute. Look at this. He's going to run all the way around and just go and blindside this hatchery. Because the setup was so perfect for Life. He just comes in here and gets this, and he can get out before the army of Life can even get there in time to defend.
Look at that. That was a great move by SOS, cutting out one of those macro hatcheries, getting 7 drones, hurting that economy. Before that move, Life had a slightly better economy than SOS, and now SOS is in the lead in that regard.
Yeah, and I don't know if SOS necessarily has to stop with the attack. I mean, he does have the luxury of maybe going back to his base and making another Nexus and continuing onward, but I think he could just keep the pressure on here. I think losing that hatchery is going to reduce the production for Life by a huge amount.
Well, right now he is going forward once again. Here's some great blinks coming out of SOS. Life trying to get something done. Burrow moving on those roaches, coming up next to those Stalkers, but blinking back into a beautiful concave right now is SOS, and it looks like he's starting to take the fight.
Yeah, he's just blinking perfectly enough, and that's the moment he blinks right on top. Life is in trouble. He's losing his army. There's going to be no way he'll be able to defend his 3rd base. The Stalkers push forward. Supply 123 to 91. I don't see any way that Life can survive this next attack.
Well, I kind of hope that he does, Stasis, but I don't think it's going to be possible. GG! SOS takes the lead 3-2 in the finals of the WCS World Championship.